bring Amanda home.
That's the hope, that's the dream. Amanda Berry would be 24 years old today. All those years, all those life experiences missing.
It's been 8 years. Each year, they say time gets easier. For me, I think it's getting harder. I lost my mom 5 years ago, 8 years for my sister.
It's been very hard on me. And I'm asking from my heart and I'm begging. I know Gina is out there. And Gina, if you can see this, honey, know and trust that I love you. We will never give up this fight. We will fight to the end to bring you home.
He says that she couldn't get out. He says that she asked.
Kevin,
there's a cheer.
If you're telling the story too, Zach Reed, can you hear me? Zach Reed is the councilman there, is confirming it is Amanda and Gina.
I just heard a huge cheer down here. I'm not down there, so I don't know exactly what they're cheering about. But this guy, Charles Ramsey, says that he saw someone coming out of trying to get out. He busted in the door. She called police, said she was Amanda Berry, said that Gina DeJesus was in the house, said that several other women were in there, and she called police. Police came here, and they've been here ever since. So, Bill, if this is the ending, I mean, it's hard not to be emotional about this. If this is the ending, wow, that's all I can say.
We have all covered these stories for a decade right now. We've all been in their homes. We've all interviewed. We've all been to the vigils, Kevin, and it's always emotional. And I know there's always been that one ray of hope, even when Amanda's mom went home to be with the Lord, that she would be found with Gina's family, too, every year.
Felix DeJesus, who is Gina's father, he has always insisted that she was that she was taken for some type of human trafficking. If this is true, little did we know that she was right here in Cleveland. It's mind-boggling. This is Charles Ramsey, correct?
Yes, sir.
You live next door to the home.
Yes, sir.
I talked to you earlier. Can you tell our viewers again what happened?
I went to McDonald's. I came home. I'm eating at McDonald's. I got the day off from work, so naturally you're doing nothing. And I hear this girl screaming, and she going nuts. So I come outside, and I know there's nobody that's supposed to be screaming next door to my house because there's no girl that lives in that house. So that's a dead giveaway to something wrong. And when I came to the front door and looked at her, she said, "My name is Amanda Berry. Please get me out this house." So I'm thinking, whatever. So I helped her get out the house. I ain't thinking that you really that girl that's missing. You've been gone for so long, you think you lying. And she called the police, and they came, and they took a fingerprint sample of her, blood sample, and it came back, it was her. And then she said it was two more girls up in the house. Now, I don't know this. I just helped her move out.
You're correct. It was Gina DeJesus was the other one. And then a woman named Michelle Knight. So you've been living next door to that house. Had you known there were any people?
No, because I'd have pulled this heroic stuff last year. Okay. My goons.
So the words out here that people are using tonight, surreal, a miracle, plenty of other words, I'm sure, but it certainly is surreal and certainly is a miracle. Police say they will be here all night, and they will eventually go into that home with a search warrant.
And again, you said that it is believed that those women were inside that house the entire time?
Right here on the west side of Cleveland. Many people can't understand that. There's some commotion. I'm not sure what that is, but yes. But police say that they have been here the entire time.
And you had talked earlier, remember it was just last summer where they thought they had a break in the case. An inmate said that, or claimed that he knew where Amanda Berry's remains were. That excavation happening not too far from that house.
Tracy, that's just a couple of blocks away from here where that happened, where they dug up that lot. Little would they know that these girls were here just a couple of blocks away in a home.
It is almost hard to believe the heartbreak and the agony and the pain these families have been through, and they're literally just blocks from where they were reported abducted 10 years ago.
It's incredible, and for that long.
All right, thank you, Kevin, very much.
And just to think that all, their posters were all over the place.
In that neighborhood.
All over that neighborhood.
And everybody knew.
It is amazing.
But didn't know where they were. All right, Bill Scheel following another part of the story for us here. Bill Scheel is at the scene by the house where the girls were found earlier tonight. Bill, what do you have?
First of all, I just want to pick up on a theme that Kevin said, just for where we are. It is about 6 blocks to the heart of Ohio City this way, not too much further than that to Metro Health this way, and about a mile and a half across the river to downtown. They were literally kidnapped in plain sight. Now let's take some video from earlier this afternoon. As you can see, a huge scene developing here as word got out of what had happened, that 3 women were found alive in this place. You're going to hear from 3 people now. 1, Brenda Brown, a friend of Amanda Berry's mother. Number 2, Police Chief Michael McGrath from the Cleveland Police Department. And number 3, Gina DeJesus's uncle. Let's listen to what all 3 of them had to say.
We know that the 2 girls, Amanda Berry and the DeJesus girl, have been found on Seymour. They're both very healthy, and they're in good condition. And we'll proceed from here. 3 suspects, I believe, were arrested. And 2? No, I think they had 3, but suspects have been arrested.
That man should be charged, okay, with Amanda Berry's murder, okay? Because that woman died of a broken heart, yes, and I believe that in my heart, okay? I never seen her face dry after they took her daughter.
This guy, what he deserves the worst.
Now, just to pick up on what Gina DeJesus's uncle said there, he indicated to us that he knew the family of the kidnapper. He didn't say he knew the kidnapper, but he said he knew the family and had grown up with some of them. So just an amazing twist of events here tonight. As Kevin indicated, a search warrant to be executed soon. The police expect to be out here all night. Back to you.
Bill, before you go, an important piece of information that the chief of police was talking about. There's some debate whether it's 2 or 3, but 2 or 3 people have been arrested.
That is according to the police chief. That is correct. Now, as you heard in the soundbite, we got him just as he got here. That's what he knew at the time. He indicated 2, possibly 3 arrested. He said they would be putting out more information tonight and would hold a press conference in the morning.
Boy, so much more to learn here. All right, Bill Shield.
Initially, they were persons of interest. Chief calling them now suspects. Right. So we know a little bit more tonight as the story continues on. Emotions running very high at every angle of this story.
Now, Fox 8's Gabe Spiegel joins us live with more on that 911 call and the calls that came in after that.
Yeah, Tracy, Bill, the magnitude of this story is tough to wrap your head around at this stage. So many questions and so few answers. Imagine being a 911 dispatcher and you get a call from a woman who says she's Amanda Berry and she's desperate for help. That's exactly what happened. Neighbors in the Seymour Avenue area near West 25th, they say many of them, frankly, had just given up hope. It's been more than 10 years. One guy who lived next door never knew women and children were staying at a house just yards away from him. So when Amanda Berry screamed at him to help her out of the house, he was suspicious too. Here is the call that came into dispatchers from Amanda Berry just before 6 o'clock tonight.
Cleveland 911. Hello, please. Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. You need police, fire, or ambulance? I need police. Okay, and what's going on there? I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now. Okay, and what's your address? 2207 Seymour Avenue. 2207 Seymour. It looks like you're calling me from 2210. Looks like you're calling me from 2210. I can't hear you. It looks like you were calling me from 2210 Seymour. Yeah, I'm across the street. I'm using the phone. Okay, stay there with those neighbors. Talk to the police when they get there. Okay. Thank you. Okay, talk to the police when they get there. Okay. Hello? Yeah, talk to the police when they get there. Okay, I'm right now. We're going to send them as soon as we get a car open. No, I need them now before we get back.
It's just chilling to hear the emotion in that 911 call, again from Amanda Berry. Turns out Amanda Berry's mother, Luana Miller, passed away 3 years after Amanda went missing. Mom was 44. This story has so many tragedies, and yet 3 women are found alive tonight. And again, it's hard to, we've been talking about it here for a moment. 4 walls inside of a house, women and children, and again, yards away, neighbors not knowing.
Was there a dungeon? Are they locked in the basement? All these kind of things that we want to know, and I'm hoping we'll be allowed in the house to see what was going on and talk to them.
And it should be interesting to see what they find when they do the search warrants and everything, but it's just, it is amazing. And if only Amanda Berry's mother were here to see.
Yeah, just some closure. And again, this happening at 6 o'clock tonight. Here we are 4 hours later. We're getting some answers. We're piecing this all together as police are. So hopefully by tomorrow we'll know who's responsible for this absolute tragedy.
Thank you, Gabe. All those times I spent with Amanda's mom, crying, praying, sobbing, wondering. Her room was kept in pristine condition,
Yeah, she never touched
waiting
it
for her to
after she
come back. Never touched it at all.
And she kept gifts for the day when
All of
she
them,
returned.
yeah.
Yes.
And then died of a broken heart. All right.
All right, we want to get right to Melissa Reed. She's at Metro Health Medical Center with more reaction today to these huge developments. Melissa?
Well, Tracy, excitement and emotional here at Metro Health as the family members of both the girls are just overjoyed by the news. And joining me right now, I'm surrounded by members of Amanda Berry's family here. Her cousin, Tashina Mitchell. Tashina, talk to me about what this has been like for all of you. You guys have been here from the very beginning. What's this feel like?
Words can't really explain, but I'm so ecstatic. Like, I'm so excited. I'm overwhelmed. I'm just glad. To be truthfully honest, I'm speechless. I just can't wait to see her and hug her and tell her how much I missed her. So,
right now they're just letting her sister in. You told me just immediate family, but you did share a picture. Talk to me about the picture and what that gives you. Hope?
Yeah, it made me cry because I'm just so excited. Like, her smile is just like out of this world. Even though she went through so much, it's still the same. Right? It's just still. You could just tell she's so excited and so happy to be with her sister, and I'm just happy for them.
Family is a huge amount of family here and support another family member, cousin Destiny Sneed. Destiny, talk to me about your reaction when you heard what happened.
My reaction when I heard what happened was drop, stop, and go. I dropped what I was doing, grabbed my stuff, and I came straight down here. Too excited to see her, but they won't let us in, so we're just patiently waiting.
Right.
Have you thought about what you're going to say as soon as you see her?
I love you, I miss you, and I knew you was gonna come home one day.
They said there's a good chance that may be watching right now because we're on here live at 10 o'clock.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Go right ahead. What is your message?
I just want to let her know that I love you and I missed you so much, and I can't wait to see you. Me and Destiny's been down here patiently waiting. So we'll still be here waiting for her, just for us to come up.
We'll be here every day, baby. We're here, baby.
I'm excited.
That is just a clear example. I mean, this has kind of been like this all night, just members of Amanda Berry's family out here just waiting for word that they can go inside there at Metro Health and get to see their girl. And I'll have much more, especially she talked about sharing a photo. We're going to share that photo with you of Amanda Berry inside that hospital coming up in a couple minutes. Bill, Tracy?
Yeah, we got a glimpse at that picture, and just to see Amanda smiling from ear to ear, you can only imagine what was going through her mind when she picked up that phone and was calling talking to dispatchers today.
Thank you, Melissa, very much. All right, Suzanne Stratford is out at the home of Amanda Berry tonight, and we've seen these spontaneous applause and cheers all over the city. It's really quite something, people coming out of their homes, and not a few people or dozens, but hundreds of people. Suzanne, what can you tell us?
Yeah, actually, Bill and Tracy, it's been kind of wild over here at Amanda Berry's sister's home. There were cars going by. They were honking their horns. Everyone still has their yellow ribbons up and the pictures of Amanda waiting and hoping that she would come home. Many people believing this day would happen. Others weren't so sure, but it was quite a scene as family members and friends gathered on the porch of her sister's home while she was over at the hospital. Everyone waiting patiently to hear and if it was actually true. You know, there have been some false reports over the last decade. Amanda, as you know, disappeared the day before her 17th birthday back in 2003, walking home from work. It was a normal day for her. She just vanished, you know, right before her birthday. She's now a 27-year-old woman. So many people, cousins, family members, they were a little apprehensive. Some of them saying, yeah, you know, I won't believe it till I see it. But when they saw that picture of her, the tears just started flowing. They were very excited.
I'm in shock. I feel like I'm in a dream. I couldn't believe when my sister called me and told me what she had heard. I thought it was, my sister wouldn't joke about something like that, but you think it's almost a joke, you know? You can't believe it. We waited for so many years, you know, just thinking the worst, and she's right here. She's right here, and we was out there. We tried, you know?
And a lot of family members saying when they were looking at the picture of Amanda on the cell phone, they said, oh, you know, she looks skinny, but she looks good. She looks really good. Everyone was happy to see her looking so well. And some cousins saying, you know, it's her. It's really her. We know it's really her now. You know, there's a lot of work to be done, as they know. You know, they can't even imagine, people can't even imagine what Amanda might have gone through. So everyone knows, you know, they're going to be there for her, though, with her physical and emotional recovery. And the only thing we did hear time and time again is everyone, you know, very sad that her mom couldn't be here. You know, her mother passing away in 2000. 2006. People were very sad about that, but extremely happy that Amanda is okay, is alive and well, and everyone extremely excited in this neighborhood to see her and give her a hug.
Yeah, and her mom knew all along that she would be found
That's
alive.
Right. Thank you, Suzanne.
Sure did.
At some point in time, too, privately or otherwise, sit down with Amanda, having done her mom's funeral, and talk all about that and share so she knows and can take that with her, the joy and love her mom had for her.
I think she would appreciate that.
That would be important.
Cleveland's own Fox 8 News.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry. You need police, fire, or ambulance? I need police. Okay, and what's going on there? I've been kidnapped and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here. I'm free now.
I am free now. What incredible words. A stunning end to two of Cleveland's most notorious unsolved cases.
Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, found alive along with another missing woman by the name of Michelle Knight, all found in a home on the city's west side. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Wayne Dawson.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Schaefer. Today we are learning more about the rescue of the three girls missing for 10 years.
We begin our team coverage with Todd Meany, who attended a news conference this morning. Todd, good afternoon. What can you tell us?
Wayne, Stephanie, good afternoon. We heard from law enforcement officers around 9 o'clock this morning. They have 3 men in custody. They are brothers. One of them was living at the house on Seymour where Amanda, Gina, and Michelle were all found. And it was really Amanda's 911 call. You heard it just a little bit ago. That was the break in this case.
The real hero here is Amanda. I mean, she is the real hero. I mean, she's the one that got this rolling. You know, we're following her lead. Without her, none of us would be here today.
The men under arrest are 52-year-old Ariel Castro, who's living at that house on Seymour Avenue. You see his picture right there. And his brothers, Pedro and O'Neill. They have not been charged, but charges are expected to be filed in this case today. Now, Gina, Amanda, and Michelle all disappeared from that same area of West 105th Street in Lorraine about 10 years ago. Amanda was found inside the home last night with a 6-year-old girl, which is said to be her daughter. Despite having suspects in custody and these newly discovered women in a safe place, investigators did not release many details about how these women were kept in the home and why no one ever even noticed they were there.
You know, the public and you all have many questions, and so do we. Until we have the answers to those questions, based on facts and evidence, we won't be able to speculate as to the how and why.
It actually could take days to actually get that information as they continue to interview the suspects in this case, who will expected to be charged today, and of course interview those women who have had to go to the hospital, who have had to talk with counselors and psychologists. It's going to take a long time to debrief them and get the information vital to solving this case. Back to you guys.
Todd Meany reporting live, an update on the situation as far as the investigation is concerned. Thank you very much.
Almost so many questions still beginning, just beginning now to unfold. 10 years. How are they in that house for 10 years? Nobody outside having any inclination
or hearing anything. Maybe it was that loud music. You know, a search warrant that Gabe was talking about there, we have also learned that a second search warrant is being written up in this case.
Bill Scheel is live at the Emergency Operations Center for us tonight. Bill, what can you tell us about this, the second search warrant?
Well, Lou and Wilma, yes, we have confirmed, the I-team has confirmed a second search warrant was drawn up, and what it is asking for is what is fascinating here and chilling at the same time. It is asking for the ability to search for bodily fluids regarding a live birth singular or births plural in and around that home. Now remember, one of the people recovered yesterday was a 6-year-old girl. That would be the birth. But when they say plural births, the indication is they're looking for whether or not there were ever any other children there, and if so, what happened to those children. Of course, we have pictures of the scene, and as you can see from Sky Fox, a lot of activity there this afternoon after we got this report of a second search warrant being drawn up. So they are clearly looking for evidence to see if there may be more victims in this case than what we know so far, and that is apparently the focus of the search at this hour. Back to you.
Bill, does calling it bodily fluids legally, you're a lawyer as well, give them more leverage in their search, the extent to which they can go?
In a way, leverage is a good word, Wilma. What it does is it gives them more leeway. So what you want to do if you're trying to get a search warrant. You don't want to go back every time for every little thing, so you ask for a broad area that you can search. If you're searching for bodily fluids and this is not proven yet, you happen to find any human remains, well, it's within the parameters of what you were searching for. So it does indicate that they are looking for, I would say, they're looking for other potential victims in this case, and they wanted a warrant that was broad enough to cover that possibility.
So many layers to this story. That is the latest one right there. Bill Scheel live on the scene for us on St. Clair tonight. And also tonight we're being told that the women may have been pregnant numerous times during their captivity.
Fox 8's I-Team Peggy Sinkovich joins us tonight. Peggy, do we know how the women are doing right now?
Well, you know what, Lou and Wilma, it is amazing that they are doing as well as they are after such an ordeal. They were rescued yesterday after one of the victims, Amanda Berry, was able to escape and call 911. Now, sources say chains were found in the basement where the women may have been kept. All three are malnourished, and one of the women, Michelle Knight, may have suffered a hearing loss. For about 10 years, Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight lived in this house of horrors. The Fox 8 I-Team learned the women may have been forced to have sex, resulting in numerous pregnancies. It's not known how many children may have been born. A 6-year-old child belonging to Berry was also rescued from the home.
It shocked me, but at least they would find the girls alive.
The I-Team has also learned at least one of the victims had been beaten, and there may have been another woman inside the home at one time. Police have taken 3 men, Ariel, O'Neill, and Pedro Castro, into custody. Family members and friends say both Pedro and O'Neill kept to themselves. They had disabilities, and they don't believe that they had any knowledge of what was going on. O'Neill's son, who did not want to be identified, says his uncle Ariel would not let anyone inside his home.
Never. He never let anybody in his house, anybody. He wouldn't let my father, his own mother, go in the house. If she ever came to that house, she would call him and say, I'm out front. That's the only time anyone would ever see her over there. My other uncle, Pedro Castro, that they have down there too, he would ride his bike over there. He never went in that house. Nobody ever went in that house.
O'Neill's son said the family thought it was a little odd that Ariel wouldn't let anyone inside, but say they thought he'd just like to keep to himself.
Nobody would think that he's got girls, females tied up in his basement or wherever it was, however he had it. This is sickening on our family. Our whole family's getting dragged through the mud right now.
But family members of the suspects say they are grateful the victims survived.
Thankful that they're all right. We're so thankful, and like I said, we have prayers going out to the family, and we're just all so thankful right now that they're alive.
Now, police did tell us that the 3 were arrested at a McDonald's near the home. 2 of the brothers were inside the car while one was in the parking lot. We have also learned that a woman's name and the words "rest in peace" were found written on a wall in the basement. Lou and Wilma.
There's other missing young people from our area, and it's gone on for a while, unfortunately. Is there any speculation or searching for a potential network here and others might be found?
People are hopeful.
Yes.
Of course, a lot of victims that have missing family members are very hopeful that that might be the case. Police wouldn't go into too much, but they say they are looking at everything right now.
Good.
Peggy, thank you. Grim, eerie information beginning to emerge tonight. Fox 8 I-Team today has learned that a Cleveland man questioned in the disappearances of 2 of the missing girls back in 2004 told the FBI that they should instead focus on 52-year-old Ariel Castro as a suspect.
Fox 8 I-Team reporter Jack Shea has this story.
So how do you feel?
Well, I feel great. Veteran Cleveland private investigator Chris Giannini and his client Fernando Colon watched with keen interest as 3 missing women were found alive on Monday after being held captive for years by 52-year-old Ariel Castro. Fernando Colon had been questioned by the FBI in 2004 about the disappearance of Gina DeJesus and Amanda Berry because he worked as a security guard in the neighborhood and was the last person to see DeJesus before she vanished.
And for something like this to come up, for everybody to think that I had something to do with the disappearance of these girls, it was just devastating to me.
Fernando Colon also had a close connection to Ariel Castro. He was married to Castro's ex-wife and was stepfather to Castro's 4 children. In 2004, Colon was convicted of 2 counts of gross sexual imposition and classified as a sex offender for molesting 2 of Castro's daughters. Colon says Castro orchestrated the case, even serving as a witness at Colon's trial. to divert attention away from his own crimes.
Actually, that was something brilliant, because if you come to think about it, he's got these girls prisoner in there, and put an accusation as such to me makes him look like an angel. Like he is such a proud father, such a trustworthy person.
Fernando Colon maintains that when he talked to the FBI back in 2004, he identified Ariel Castro as a more likely suspect in the abductions of the young girls.
Ariel Castro fathered 4 children. Last 2 daughters, they were friends of Amanda and Gina.
Chris Giannini was the private eye for Fernando Colon's defense team in the molestation case, and says Ariel Castro was known to spend time after school with his daughters and their friends Amanda and Gina, and was careful to keep people from visiting his house.
Should they have searched his home? Should they have taken a closer look at him?
Absolutely.
Tell me why.
He's a parent. He's the parent. He's the natural parent. They should have gone and checked out his house and talked to him and interviewed him and thought about something. On top of that, he was a school bus driver. He drove that route down Lorraine Road from Wilbur Wright Junior High every day at 2:40 in the afternoon.
If people would have listened when I told them to look into this individual, these girls would never have been missing so long.
Jack Shea, Fox 8 News in Cleveland.
Isn't that an amazing part of the story? The FBI has not yet returned our calls seeking comment on the allegations made by Fernando Colon. Colon says that he now plans to appeal his molestation conviction based on the emerging evidence against Ariel Castro.
And we'll definitely stay on top of that aspect of the story for you.
Hi, Bill.
Hi, Bill Shield with Channel 8. I don't know if this is for you or maybe for the head of the FBI. I don't know if it's a joint task force or not, but we had a story yesterday where a gentleman who was, I believe, initially a suspect in Gina DeJesus's disappearance, and a private investigator indicated to us that this gentleman said he had pointed authorities in the direction of Ariel Castro back in like 2004. Again, I don't know who the appropriate person to respond is, but is that true, and what was done with that if it is true?
You want to address it, Steve?
Just very quickly, we have obviously have heard that same statement, and with due diligence, we have scrubbed our entire investigative file and have no reason to believe that he made the comments that he's purporting to the media.
So, just so I have it right, I mean, there was a conversation with him, but you have no reason to believe that he made the statements to you that he made to us. Is that correct?
As part of this long-term joint task force investigation, he was interviewed at some point, and that must be what he's referring to when he said that he told us that. Again, we have no information to believe, based upon our investigative file, that that's indeed correct.
An exclusive look from Sky Fox as investigators towed one of the 2 vehicles from the home on Seymour Avenue this afternoon. Just some of the activity at the scene as police continue to process the extensive crime scene where 3 women were held captive for 10 years.
And before we go, we want to check back in with our Kevin Friedman one final time. And Kevin has been covering the story from the very start and joins us live from the suspect's home on Seymour Avenue. Kevin.
Well, I can tell you right now, we've seen several vehicles leave the street, and I just talked to the FBI special agent in charge here in Cleveland, and he says they are indeed wrapping up for the night. They will be back here tomorrow morning. Now, of course, as you mentioned, they've been executing a search warrant in that home where Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight were found yesterday. Now, the other development today is that we've learned that they've extended the time that they can charge the suspects. Ariel Castro and his 2 brothers. Ariel is the person who lives in that home.
Well, originally we were told 10 o'clock, and that certainly came and went. It did not happen. We got an update from the 1st District Commander, who is actually asking us right now to stay back. They've blocked off just a few seconds ago this corner here at Cooley in West 129th. We're now hearing sirens, so
get down.
We're going to let you see. I can't see from my vantage point. I'm literally crouching on the street because there's so much media. Right. I'm not able to see if the car's coming down the street, but there all of a sudden heightened police activity, and they blocked off one side of the street. Now all I can tell is I hear the rumbling of a car coming down.
Yeah, we see some.
I'm imagining this is
motorcade of some officers on
in this
bikes.
Motorcade.
Yeah, here she comes.
So we're taking the aerial view now of Sky Fox. We hear people screaming and cheering. extraordinary moment for this family, Amanda Berry's family, and her friends, the neighbors, the community who have walked this journey for 10 years with this family, prayed every day for her return, and we are witnessing it live today. It's just an extraordinary moment we were all sharing together, folks.
Wayne and Steph, I don't know if you guys can hear me, but we haven't been able to catch a glimpse of her yet. I'm literally crouched on the side of the street. I can just see people lining the sidewalks, but there is a minivan that is pulling into the driveway. Right now, I'm imagining that she is inside of that. Weren't able to catch a glimpse right now as it just went by, but there goes a second car into the driveway. So we're going to keep an eye out and see. She comes out and gives us a wave. There's Sammy Morris from Cleveland Police. It looks like an FBI agent there. I'm imagining she is in that first car.
Sky Fox giving us a pretty good view of what's happening right now.
See the doors opening to, that was the minivan that we figured she would probably be arriving in there with some of her family. But this is Amanda Berry, now a free woman, was taken against her will just before she was 17 years old, a day before her 17th birthday, and now standing on free ground. She is now in a safe place, which is the home of her sister, who has always kept vigil.
Now here's the baby being taken out.
And covered up.
Yes, the 6-year-old. We're waiting to see
Mike.
the baby's taking inside.
That could be Amanda.
That could be Amanda in the yellow.
Yeah.
That's probably her in the yellow that just went inside. So she's home.
She's home. She is in a place where she is loved and she is safe.
The chants of Gina, Gina coming from the crowd. You can hear it. This is the joy in this community. This is the passion. And here she comes. Looks like she's in this minivan, this green Dodge minivan right here, this caravan. Everybody cheering. Some of the law enforcement escorting her out. There's Felix. The fist pump in the air. The high fives. Here she comes. She has a hoodie on. Thumbs up from Gina DeJesus. She's in that neon hoodie there, black pants, and she is being escorted by her family and the guardian angels up into the back of the house. And that was powerful.
Gina disappeared as a teenager but returned a young woman, now 23 years old, but not quite ready to address the public. So her family did.
Thank you. My first reaction is I saw my daughter. The only thing I did was grab her and hug her. I didn't want to let go.
A miracle, says Gina's mother, Nancy Ruiz. For Amanda Berry and Michelle Knight, too.
I also had the opportunity to be with all three of them, to spend quality time with them that first moment, and it was awesome.
An extraordinary sight for Gina's dad, Felix DeJesus, as well, after 9 years of unwavering faith.
I knew she needed me, and I never gave up. Never gave up searching for her.
They thanked law enforcement and the community and pledged to prevent other children from being abducted.
Because I thought this problem that has happened to me on this joyous day that I got my daughter back would never have to happen to my family. But it came in knocking on that door.
When asked about Ariel Castro, the man charged with kidnapping and assaulting the girls, Gina's aunt offered only forgiveness.
Because we are all God's children, our family, forgive them. But we won't forget.
But this day wasn't about him. It was about Gina, who's ecstatic to be home And they're thrilled also that she returned just in time for Mother's Day.
It is still, I still feel as it is a dream. I still pinch myself. I know she's there, and I know she's going to be there, but it's like a dream.
Absolutely, it was like a dream. So exciting for that family. Best Mother's Day gift yet.
It has been a week like no other in the history of Cleveland.
We ain't out here just to stay in here. We're out here because we thank God they got us. That's why we're here.
Amanda Berry, Gina DeJesus, and Michelle Knight had been held captive for more than a decade. They were found alive inside Ariel Castro's Seymour Avenue home on the city's near west side, along with Amanda's 6-year-old daughter. The 52-year-old Castro is now charged with rape and kidnapping, and the allegations are only likely to get worse. On Monday night, when most of the world's attention was focused here on Seymour Avenue, the women and the 6-year-old girl were quickly taken to Metro Hospital. Very few people other than hospital personnel or their families saw them in those first few hours of freedom. Did you see any of the women that night?
Oh, absolutely. I saw all of them.
FBI Special Agent Vicki Anderson says the scene inside Metro with the 3 women was overwhelming.
They were just all smiles, you know. They were so happy. They were hugging their families, and they just couldn't stop grinning.
But Anderson says it was also clear at the hospital, this is a shot of Amanda from that night, that this was not a normal reunion.
They were like deer-eyed, you know, doe-eyed, those great big eyes, just taking it all in. You know, you just wonder what was going through their minds, but you know, we're not going to ask that.
Anderson says that was left in part to a female FBI agent who was brought in because she specializes in dealing with young victims. She asked just enough questions at the hospital to allow authorities to hold Castro and start building a case against him. Meantime, this was the first time any of Amanda's family had seen the daughter born during her captivity. The 6-year-old,
yeah.
Your impressions?
Oh my goodness, a cutie. I think it was Amanda's sister that told me that Amanda told her that she's been working with her. You know, she's been trying to teach her all she could while they were there, you know, being held captive, and you could tell.
Anderson says it's been a rewarding but tough week.
I don't think anybody in law enforcement's patting themselves on the back. You know, this was those girls. I mean, this was Amanda kicking through that door, and that was the man outside that helped her, you know. I mean, this was not law enforcement that rescued them, and we wish we would have been able to. You know, we tried.
Vicki Anderson's lasting impressions of the first time she saw each of the women? Tell me a little about Amanda this week. What would you tell me?
She just was grinning from ear to ear. I mean, it was just, you could tell she was just overjoyed. Absolutely. Gina, all the family, I mean, she so loved her mom and dad. They never gave up hope. They always knew. Michelle was just so fun to talk to. You know, she was really engaging that night.
A night those women and all of Cleveland will never forget.
Help me, I'm Amanda Berry.
You need police, fire, or ambulance?
I'm the police.
Okay, and what's going on there?
I've been kidnapped, and I've been missing for 10 years, and I'm here, I'm free now.
Hold on to me as we go.
This might be for real. Georgina DeJesus might be in this house also, her. Adam 23 radio.
Go ahead.
We found them.
Just know you're not alone.
And I look and I see this girl, and she just going nuts on the door.
You were taken away from me, and she knows that I will always be there for her. And I'm just happy she's home.
We love you, baby! We miss you! We've been here with you, mommy!
Currently, they're safe. We're in the process of evaluating their medical needs. They appear to be in fair condition at the moment.
Prayers have finally been answered. The nightmare is over. These 3 young ladies have provided us with the ultimate definition of survival and perseverance.
I just want to say we are so happy to have Amanda and her daughter home. I want to thank the public and the media for their support.
How are you?
I'm fine.
I'm glad to have you back. How are you? I thought you were gone.
No, I'm here.
She has a hoodie on. Thumbs up from Gina DeJesus.
My first reaction is I saw my daughter. The only thing I did was grab her and hug her. I didn't want to let go.
If I could speak to her and have her right next to me, I would give her the biggest hug in the world and say I love her and I missed her.
I knew my daughter was out there alive.
They had a TV, they saw the rallies, they knew they were being looked for.
Rarely do we ever get to have victory vigils, and so today we get to do that. We get to walk across the bridge and we get to celebrate these 3 women's lives.